I have a really awesome video for you today. Today's video, we're going to be going over the K word and everything you guys need to know about it. This should serve as a fantastic primer if you haven't heard anything about the K word yet, or if you've just seen the infographics and you're sort of interested in learning more. I have some really fantastic guests who are going to be joining me today, friends of journalism from the journalism Discord. I'm just going to list them off in order. Also, in the description, I'll link to any of their social media accounts and where you can find them. So first we have Trent, the fabulous Trent. I mean, the guy's a neurosurgeon and he's also a journalist. Like, can you believe a person being that talented? Then we have Jamie, one of our best writers on staff. We have Dinorah, just a person who with so much passion for what they do. It's crazy. And then friend of the channel, been on so many of my shows. I love the person. I love her so much. It's Neville Croft, of course. You guys know him. You guys love Neville. Then we have the Reformed Doctor, another doctor on this video. I mean, can you guys believe what I was able to get? We also have good friend of journalism, Flynn, and a big star. You guys may have heard of him, Ramon. If you guys know Raymond, also previously known as Puffman. I've done a couple collabs with him in the past. I've been meaning to get him on this channel, but so far I've only been on his channel. So that's sort of a list. Everyone's going to be in the video. It's going to be fantastic. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I'm going to hit you guys with a brief history of the K word. Maybe not so brief, but let's start off. If you guys know nothing, we're just going to be reviewing some of the K word jokes or memes. I don't think they're very funny, but let's just go through them really quick and see what we can sort of think about them. This one is, once you defeat all the other Ks, this is the final boss. And it's just a picture of a lady. I don't really understand. I think she's at a basketball game. I don't really understand what the joke is here. She seems like a very fine lady. She could be your grandmother. She could be my grandmother. Who knows? She just seems like a nice lady. I'd like to speak to the manager and the police. I'd like to speak to the police manager. Yeah, this one doesn't make any sense. These kids seem to be indoctrinated into this like Blue Lives Matter thing. If you guys remember that whole crazy Blue Lives Matter thing, yeah. So this one's a weird one. I'm not supporting this lady because clearly she supports Blue Lives Matters, which is a fake group. But I don't know. I think it's rude to make fun of women. This one has a cuss in it. I apologize. Oh, shoot. This looks like K when she's about to have a heart. Wow. Jeez, that got dark quick, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't know that was going to be so dark. When the ride isn't even over yet and you already want to speak to a manager. Now, this one's confusing me. I'm going to get into it later in this video about who this manager, this manager character is. So let's just let Trent hit you off with a little bit of more history on the K word, and I'll get back to you guys with the managers very soon.
Throughout the ages, one mode of communication has, as of right now, reigned superior to all other forms of communication: the internet. Although a great tool to stay in touch, browse approved news sites, and create work for others, the internet allows information to spread almost too quickly. This can create almost a shared consciousness of persons on the internet, allowing dangerous ideals to be spread rapidly and easy. Karen meme is no exception, spreading like wildfire through internet forums, chat rooms, and email chains. All walks of life exist on the internet, especially those who use this platform to mock other people. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. People like journalists and the JLGTQIA+, the true defenders of the internet, and all that is sacred to marginalized groups.
Wow, Trent, you did a fantastic job. I mean, I just want to remind you guys, this guy's a neurosurgeon. Like, come on, am I outclassed here? I mean, so let's answer the question that I sort of hinted at earlier. Who's this manager? Now, I don't need to be a neurosurgeon to tell you that there's a word in manager. It's man, right? Obviously, the manager stands for men. And when K words sort of want to speak to this manager, they're trying to fight the patriarchy, okay? So is it not obvious that K words are good in that regard? But then people make fun of them because they make fun of women who stand up for themselves. Pretty gross, if you ask me. So anyway, that's who the manager is. If any of you were even confused, I'm glad I could clarify that for you.
All memes on the internet are all fun and games until someone gets hurt, right? The Karen meme is no exception. It openly mocks women who call out those who are not treating females with the respect they deserve. By mocking those who choose to speak to the manager and who stand up for themselves, bad actors and alt-right hate groups put down women and continue to oppress women in the patriarchal society.
The Karen slur joined the internet as a trend in the 2010s of using a first name to make fun of certain kinds of women. One suggestion is that it comes from a 2007 bit by the comedian Dane Cook called The Friend That Nobody Likes. Karen appears as early as September 2016 when a Tumblr user, Jomatar, made fun of a promo for Nintendo Switch in which a white woman, appearing to be in her late 20s or early 30s, brings the gaming device to a party. The user refers to this supposed killjoy as Karen. The character was further developed in December 2017 thanks to a subreddit dedicated to mocking the imagined Karen. Tropes and stereotypes that developed about Karen here is that she is a middle-aged white woman, annoying minivan driving, and divorced mother of poorly behaved boy, and sports a so-called speak to the manager haircut. Reddit users on the gender-critical subreddit shared explanations for their disdain of the slur, stating that they get mocked for asking simple requests compared to the aggressive, creepy, transgressive, and destructive behavior constantly displayed by males. I never had to come up with a plan for my female coworkers for what to do if a woman customer ever came back to the store, post creator Andromeda Unbound explains.
The silent revolution was when many strong women started preparing for April 5th, 2020, the day when the K word would trend on Twitter. They prepared for the awful sexism that would be targeted to them for being women. It's awful how horrible sexism can be.
Karen came into the spotlight recently from a Julie Bindel tweet describing it as a slur, and we could not agree more. We journalists avoid all forms of oppressive language, and we are fully on board with advocating for the world to stop using the word as a slur, and this is when the alt-right claimed it, using it to offend as many people as possible. To combat the slur, we have created infographics and a Twitter poll to engage the world in discourse and further bring light to the slur and attempting to rid the world of such bigotry.
Wow, Jamie, amazing teardown. Now, let's get into the journalist's response.
So basically, to summarize, journalists first became aware of the dreaded K word after we seen it crop up more on the internet. So for journalists have eyes and ears everywhere, especially the good comrades at Journalist Excellence worldwide. So we obviously became more aware of the situations online, and we came across this word and how it was being used to marginalize and harass white women. So basically, we had to separate them from the turf Karen K word supporters. Difficult process, obviously, because of the bad actor influence in all this mess. And so eventually we decided, let's make a poll on this. It's time to address this issue. It's time to find out the public opinion on this. And so it was the decision made to make the poll.
Wow, that was really insightful and informative, Neville. Now, let's talk about the poll.
So for the poll itself, it basically questioned whether or not the K word should be banned online because of its hateful effects. Unfortunately, the poll was rigged. We had a lot of bad actors there. There was over 300,000 votes, and unfortunately, due to bad actor influence, 96% said no. 96%. That is absolutely outrageous. Lots of bad actors there, and Russian bots, so on, all those kinds of awful people, fascist Nazis, people from 4chan Stormfront, trying to harass and attack our poll. So what happened then, obviously, we've had to bring in all sorts of different means of protecting the poll, helping people who were offended by the results of the poll. So we brought in the poll operations observer / protector. So what we'll do, we will monitor the poll, track who's voting, how they're voting, and so on, in order to ensure that the correct results are available and seen by all.
As we can clearly see from the current poll, an overwhelming majority of people have voted that the K word is not, in fact, extremely offensive, which is clearly incorrect. Luckily, we have our famous poll integrity saving system, which can be used to fix these poll results. Upon a quick look at the many comments on our poll, it is obvious that there are many bad actors that have destroyed the integrity of our system. Many of these are people who would not fit the K-word stereotype and as such obviously do not need to be included in this poll.
As we know, many who voted on the K-word poll was men, and most of them voted that the K-word wasn't sexist, because as we know, sexists would of course vote that it wasn't sexist because they want to say anything degrading to women without anyone saying that it isn't degrading, or people of other genders. So I asked this question: how can we get more women to vote on women-focused polls rather than men voting for women, which is heavily sexist?
We can then run a scan on the comments of the poll to be able to obtain within a 95% confidence interval with the T-student test the relative number of bad actors that have voted for the poll versus people who actually care about the word. That, and for removing those who would fit the K-person stereotype that have internalized oppression, clearly they are not in the current right mind to vote. This is really simple stuff, commonly used in the polling industry to correct for outliers and ensuring poll integrity. Anyways, with all these factors checked in and accounted for, the new result of the poll shows an overwhelming result that the K word is in fact an extremely hateful slur and needs to be banned from Twitter. We know that this adjustive poll is accurate because it aligns with our years of journalistic experience.
Thank you, Reform Doctor. Yeah, so let's talk about Shoe on Head's video. Now, she made a video about the K word, in which she drops the K-bomb a couple times, a couple hundred times actually. Gets pretty intense. And I feel kind of slighted here because, like, why did she not mention the journalist poll that, like, made this whole thing go viral? Like, without journalists, you guys wouldn't even know that you're being problematic saying the K word. So, like, first I get told every day that I'm not an essential worker, and then next I'm not in the Shoe on Head video, and I'm just kind of peeved, a little bit peeved that I'm going to be sending this video to you, Shoe on Head, by the way. And if you don't respond to this, I'm going to be very sad. Why was I not in this Shoe on Head video? I mean, is she afraid to challenge me to a verbal duel? Is she afraid of the verbal chops that we have here at the Friends of Journalism Discord server and associated Antifa affiliate channels? Is she afraid? Is that what it is? Shoe on Head? June? Yeah, I know it. You think I'm not a loser, June. I'm an essential employee. So I don't understand what the problem is and why you won't just mention us in the video. Neva, what do you have to say about this thing?
Let's be real. Shoe and Head had absolutely no arguments whatsoever. All she did was just read tweets constantly over and over again. There's no argument there. She's taking other people's arguments and creating her own. I mean, is that really even qualified as fair use? Is a good question. Not to mention that Shoe and Head also had a dreadful habit of saying the K word over and over again in her video, such as the one, okay Karen, for example.
The thing that grosses me out about Shoe on Head, I've never seen, and I truly mean this, I've never seen so much internalized misogyny in one person. I mean, come on, all she does is take down feminists who are trying to fight the patriarchy. Like, basically, what is she? Does she support the patriarchy? Is that what's happening here? I mean, like, she has this past as, like, a pseudo-intellectual anti-feminist, and, like, I thought that she had gotten better than this, but apparently she hasn't. And that just makes me really sad that she hasn't improved at all in all this time. I mean, come on, guys. Shoehead, how long have you been pseudo-intellectual? Can we just move past that? Can you learn a thing or two? Okay, I'm essential, you're not. Bye-bye. Neville, could you just close this out for me, please?
It's also worth noting that Shoehead did not include tweets that were against her narrative, which is in itself incredibly problematic. Shoehead has proved herself to be nothing more than a toxic, germophobic bigot. Clearly, by using tweets that fit only her narrative, she's afraid to address the incredibly well analysed and critical arguments that our journalist staff members have put together. What we can gather from this is quite obvious that Shoehead is afraid of journalists and afraid of journalism. Clearly, she is afraid to challenge the big issues that we've put in. So, yeah, Shoehead is just nothing more than some cowardly bigot who just fears journalists and journalism and our arguments.
Call people out when you see them. When you see them use the K word, go ahead and let them know that they're a sexist bigot. Okay? It doesn't matter if they're their friends or your family, if they're your internet buddies. It doesn't matter. If you see it on Twitter, please do use our hashtag, hashtag Friends of Journalism, and also call them a hashtag sexist because that's what they are being. You can't use the K word, and they need to know that. It doesn't matter who they are, they can't use the K word. So tell them that they are a sexist piece of trash, call them a bigot, say whatever it takes for them to understand what they're doing is wrong. It's not okay. It's not okay to be sexist. It's not okay to be a bigot. And it needs to stop. Tell them that they are a sexist piece of trash. And they would not say that to a man, now would they? No, they wouldn't. They're saying it because it's to a woman, and that's sexism.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video today and have a fantastic day. Thanks again to everyone who contributed to this video. It was a big help. I don't think I'd be able to do it without you guys. Again, if you liked any of the people you saw today, a link to all of their channels or social medias will be in the description below. Make sure to check them out. You're probably asking yourself, how will we move forward? Well, first off, we're not going to say the K word. We're not going to be problematic. We're going to become better people. And if that's too hard for you, well, sorry, bucko. This ain't the place for you. Bye-bye.